Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. You are now watching Get This Knowledge with Montez McCamish and Jon Pounders from Now You See TV. What we do on this show is we talk about powerful topics and we give you powerful conversations. Today, we're pretty much going to be talking about a little bit further in depth on self, knowing self, I guess you would say, really self-evaluation. The title of what we decided to come up with was how to increase your luck and fulfill your dreams. I'm not going to take up all the time. I'm going to go ahead and let Jon Pounders from Now You See TV take it over.
What's up, Montez? Thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it. Let me put my mic a little closer to me here. But I appreciate you having me on, like always, man. And I just want to say that, this show, we're talking about increasing luck, and we're talking about and I know a lot of people, when they hear luck, it's like, oh, you think luck has a lot to do with it, but you'll understand when we get going what we're talking about here. And so I just I'll introduce myself a little bit in case you haven't heard of me, and we've done shows together before, but I run a channel called Now You See TV, and we've grown a lot over the years. Last year, especially this last year, went from 20,000 subscribers now over 30,000 subscribers. So we're growing rapidly. Went from 8,000 subscribers to over 30,000 in less than a year's time. And so we're growing rapidly. We're increasing 4,000 to 5,000 subscribers per month. We went from having average monthly views to 20,000 monthly views to over 500,000 monthly views and over 10 million minutes actually watched per month. So that's how many minutes people are watching our channel. Over 500,000 views per month. It's grown rapidly, and we're excited about it. We're getting ready to start a publishing company. We're going to be publishing books that have to do with the genre and the platform that we have. We just started a radio show, where we didn't start the radio show, but we're on a radio platform. It's the largest alternative radio network in the world right now, and simulcast or syndicated in over several hundred FM AM stations around the world. It's called NYSR on True Frequency Radio. So we're doing that, getting ready to build a studio so we can do live professional interviews and also recorded professional interviews, getting ready to put out some documentaries. So we're growing, we're taking it to the next level. And this show today, we're talking about increasing luck and knowing your self-worth, knowing who you are, knowing what you're about. So I just want to start off by saying this. Okay, when it comes to luck, a lot of people think, oh, I've heard, I don't know how many times, I'm sure you've heard it, Montez, you're lucky you get to do what you like to do. And, you're lucky that you can sit and do YouTube channels, or you can do this or do that. But I want to tell you this, that luck has nothing to do with the reason that I'm doing what I do. And it has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with why we've been successful at it. Luck does play a factor, but only when you're working hard, because if you're not doing anything, luck's not just going to come smack you in the face. Sure, there are people that win the lottery every now and then. They go out there and they won the lottery. They got really lucky on the lottery, but we're talking about a different kind of luck here. We're talking about a luck that only comes from working hard, and it's not really luck. I would say it's just good fortune, blessing. Okay, I'm a believer. I believe in the all-powerful, almighty Yahweh, the Father of everything, the creator of everything. I believe in him, and I believe he blesses people according to their work, and he blesses people according to their willingness to do what they're supposed to do. So for example, okay, so all right, so a lot of people are like, man, you're lucky you got to get on True Frequency Radio. Well, here's the deal. If I had not worked really, really hard, I mean, I put in like 60, 70 hours a week, sometimes 80 hours a week throughout the week. If I had not worked to build the channel that I have now, build the audience that I have now, do you think True Frequency Radio would have asked me to be a part of their network? Probably not. So there's not really luck involved there. It's more like you worked really hard. Somebody's like, hey, this guy works hard, I'm going to ask him. Because it's not so much that they're just out there looking for anybody and everybody. They're looking for people that are out there busting their butt already. And, just stuff like that really makes a difference. And people think, how can I increase my luck? I'm sure there's people looking here thinking like, how can I get more lucky? How can I do this? But even in playing cards, and I don't play a lot of cards. I don't play, I've played blackjack before in the casinos and stuff back in the day. played all these different, poker and all that stuff. I find that the better you are at the game, the more your luck increases when it comes to that. And obviously there's still chances there you have to take when it comes to that stuff. And it's the same with business, the same with doing ministry, same with doing anything. There's chances you're going to take in doing this stuff, but there's also knowing what you're doing, putting what you're doing to use, has a lot to do with how much you win or how lucky. I don't even like to use the word lucky, but how lucky you are. It has a lot to do with how,
Right. Lucky you are. It's pretty powerful. Sit there listening what some people define as lucky and what some define as success. I really think of it like this when I think that I've not really had it probably as much as you've had yet, John, because you've been doing what you've been doing for a while. Thank goodness I've been able to sit underneath you and be able to get a better understanding of how this whole YouTube thing works and following other people, getting influences through other people, through Warren, being able to sit down and listen to what he has to say. And then even just looking on other people's YouTube channels like Gary Vaynerchuk and just listening to his motivational trip. I don't know if anyone's ever watched his content, but if you want to, all you have to do is look up Gary Vaynerchuk and it'll come out. But really, for real, when I think about luck, I think about it like this. I think about when we were learning how to ride a bike. My brother, he was older than me. His name is Dominic. He had a nice bike. It was real nice. It was orange, and he was able to ride it before I was able to ride my bike. But we're only really just 3 years in difference. So at the time I'm old, I'm like 6 years old, there's nothing wrong with having training wheels at 6, but I still had training wheels at 6. I don't know if any of you all did, but I did. But I would always tell him, hey, you're lucky, you don't have your training wheels. And brother would always say to me, no, I'm not lucky that I don't have training wheels. I've tried hard enough to where I don't have to use these training wheels. And so it's almost like that. It's like, yeah, he learned at my age at that time. This what it sounds like really when someone says, hey, you're lucky for this. At a young age, we call that luck. But then if you really look at it when we get older, can we really, anything that we said, hey, they're lucky for doing that. Now I can understand the lottery, but even then, if they won that lottery, I guarantee you they didn't lay down like $600 or better in ones. There's nobody that's ever won the lottery with $1 bill, So when I think about lucky, I just really think
you always hear the thing you have to play to win. So I mean, they did at least play it. I mean, if you don't play it at all, you don't win. And I'm not condoning the lottery and thinking, hey, you better play it or you're not going to win. I think the chances are minute that you're going to win. You're right. They probably did spend $600 or $700 on tickets and probably been playing the same number for years. So there's something to that, I'm sure. But, it's the same with business. If you don't play, you're not going to win. If you don't get out there and bust your butt, you're not going to win at it at all.
It's the type of thing of like, I know that sometimes like the other night you're up. I mean, you had two shows, one back to back, but at the time it was 12 o'clock here. At your time, it was 11 o'clock there, and I was getting ready to call it a night. I just got done doing my projects, and you were still working, and you had another show in 2 hours. So you know what I mean? I really had to stop and think and assess to myself, really, okay, so what's work? What's ethic? What's pushing you? What's keeping people going? And for you, being able to show me and give me being able to watch you, that's another thing. Is another thing when people are looking for how can I get better at work ethic. I think it comes from watching others. You know what I mean? It's not that you envy it or anything, but I think you really get a sense of saying like, hey, I want to achieve something. I want to be better at this. And then watching someone that's either educating you or someone that's you're an opponent against, even, you will probably spend more time working, and you'll find out you're going to be watching everything that they're doing, and what are they doing? They're working. So that's like, okay, what do I need to do? I guess you need to work, You know what I mean?
No, that's exactly right too. I mean, I do the same thing, dude. When I see And I don't think of anybody as a competitor normally, but what I do is in my mind, I'm thinking like, who's this next person I'm going to pass up on subscribers? Who's the next person I'm going to pass up on views? And I look at that and I see what they're doing. And if they are doing more shows than I am, it's not happening. I'm going to do more shows than them. I'm going to do better shows than them. I'm going to do everything I can to just like pass them up, you know, like,
there's nothing wrong with dodgeball. I mean, like when we were young, you remember playing dodgeball, you know, I mean, it's basically like that. I mean, but it gets serious. You know what I mean? It gets serious. You have to be that way.
Yeah.
If you weren't, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's a good motivator, you know, just even if it's just a silent competition that you only know about, which is most of my competitions are. They're silent competitions that only I know about. And once you pass that one, it's like, okay, who's next? Who's next? You know, let's just find somebody else. Because I can tell you this, that like I remember back when I used to work out a lot, I used to lift weights a lot. And when I was younger, I used to do a little bit of boxing, a little bit of jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. I used to, when I went to the gym on Thanksgiving or when I went to the gym on Christmas, I was like, nobody else is in the gym right now. I'm getting ready to pass these guys. Nobody else is in there right now. So that was like my little competition, you know, knowing that nobody else is doing this right now. And maybe a few people are, but the other people aren't. You know, I'm going to outwork everybody. And really like with this channel that I've done, I've only done that this year. All right. So, I mean, I did this channel for a long time, since 2010. And I only got 8,000 subscribers from 2010 all the way up to the beginning of 2016. I was at my top was like 8,000 or 9,000 subscribers. Okay. So then I'm like, I'm going to put all into this thing. So I go from that, which I mean, I was doing like one video a week or one video every 2 weeks or one video a month or something. I wasn't doing a whole lot. And then I decided I'm going to bust this out. So I go from, you know, 8,000 or 9,000 subscribers to where I'm at right now is over 30,000 in less than a year. So I'm like, this is where I'm putting my work in at. This is where I'm putting my drive in right now into what I'm doing here. And you know, so.
Right. It's like for me, like I was going around when I was first starting my YouTube channel. I remember I started talking to you and I was like, hey, like, how do I get myself more involved? And you're like, well, do you have a camera? And I'm like, yeah. You're like, do you have people to go talk to? And it's like, yeah. And it's like, well, you seem like a pretty good type of person that can talk to people. So now you just need to go out there and strike up the conversation. I'm like, oh, yeah, I mean, really, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like that. I mean, so you got all the equipment, you got all the things, but why are you not doing it? That was like the question of a couple of people this week. I worked with JT Newton. He's a musician. He's out of Kentucky, Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and well, really he calls Louisville, Kentucky.
That was a good video, by the way, man. Really well shot, and I liked it.
I really do appreciate it. Yeah, that was one of the questions that they had asked. I haven't really aired it yet, but that was one of the questions that they had asked at the end of the show was, if you have something you want to do, why aren't you doing it? You know what I mean? Like that's one of the big things I remember I'd ask you. I'd say, hey, John, how do I? And you'd say, go do it. And I remember it was, you know.
When we were in Florida, you were asking me the same things. I was like, dude, you just got to go do it, man. There's no like because if you overthink something, if you overthink it and think, well, if I did it like this would be better, you'll probably never do it, because you can always do it better. You can always do something better, okay? But you just got to do what you can do. And I think that's where the learning about yourself kind of comes in, is instead of, because you're going to be your biggest critic always. You're going to be your biggest critic. And yeah,
I think really honestly it's best to be that way. Don't you agree?
I think it's a good thing, but I think when it keeps you from putting things out, which I know artists that are hip hop artists or whatever, they haven't put anything out because they're just not happy with what they put out over the years. Okay, so if you've gone 3 years without putting anything out, then you either need to give up your craft or you need to just start putting stuff out, because I'm telling you right now, you're never going to be 100% happy if for 3 years you've been rapping and you haven't put anything out. That means that you either need to quit or you need to put it out. Just put it out and try your best and do it. Because, I mean, it's all about content. I look back on some of the shows that I did a year ago and I'm like, dude, I was horrible at that, you know, but people liked it. I mean, there's still some of them with, you know, 100,000 views on them. And people liked it. Even though I didn't like it, I don't like it still. When I look back on it, I cringe at some of the stuff.
Right. I mean, like it's like you look at some of the famous painters, Van Gogh, and then you look at Picasso. Like, what the heck is that? You know, I mean, some people might even look at my sign. My daughter wrote that sign. You see the S's are backwards and stuff. But, you know, in my mind, I enjoy that sign. You know, I'm sure that someone else is looking at that sign good. Like, hey, look, you know what? That's a cute sign. And so, like, even it goes back to even looking at LaDonna Marie's interview that I had with her. Not everyone's going to look at your content and say, hey, look, you know, this is awesome. And not everyone's going to look at it and say, you know, this is bad. You know, but you're going to get a mix of both of them. But I think the hardest thing is, again, for a lot of people, even for me, coming to the scene, it was really just not being self-aware. What if this person tells me, no, I can't interview him? What if this person says, I need you to get that camera out of my face? What if this person say, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you've been there, John, whenever, you know, you go around with your camera on Now You See TV and you're asking people questions on one of your videos. You're asking people who they thought God was.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of people that didn't want it. I mean, yeah, you're going to have that no matter what, man. You just got to play the numbers and roll with it. Just like when I used to do door-to-door sales, and that was challenging at sometimes because you'd have so many people just cuss you out or whatever, but you still had to keep going with a positive attitude. And so I think that helped over the years. I mean, I look at the things that I've went through over the years, all the different jobs I've had, all the different businesses or ministries I've been a part of. And I think that's was leading me to where I'm at right now, because I mean, when I hit door to door, it was, for me, when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. I was clueless. I couldn't talk to people very well. I was
right. Me too. I remember that. Look, they gave me a notepad and a pen, and they told me to write everything down. And it was like, how to approach people. I mean, like it was literally that broken down. I was that, I guess you would say, illiterate, or I just didn't have that knowledge, you know?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I didn't have it either. And when I first started, thankfully I had a manager, and he runs like a multi-million-dollar company now, but he was my sales manager, and he closed all my deals for me. I'd get him a lead, he'd come in and close it. I listened to everything this guy said and how he said it, how he presented it, his body language when he was talking to him. And I started mimicking exactly how he did it. And then all of a sudden I started selling really good. I started selling like all kinds of, I mean, back in the day, I mean, it was like selling, it was just easy because after looking for him, in my opinion, he's probably one of the best salesmen there could possibly be. I mean, he was I don't think you can get much better than him because, for one, he used a lot of things to his advantage. I mean, he used to play football, so he's like 6'9". He was like 300 something pounds, solid muscle, huge guy. Real happy-go-lucky guy, 6'9", 300 pounds, but you never felt intimidated by him because he was really nice, you know. He used that to his advantage. So if you're a big guy, use it to your advantage. If you're a fat guy, use that to your advantage. Own it, because either you're fat, there's nothing you can do about it. So own your fatness, and people like fat people. They think
great hugs.
They like them, and so own it. You're fat, so what? Own it, or lose weight, one of the two. So if you're really white, own that. If you're really black, own that. Whatever you are,
right. I can so dig it. Like, I mean, and I think that's a big thing, is like really embracing yourself. If you can't learn to love yourself, if you can't learn to laugh at yourself, I mean, there's been some times we've done a lot of dumb things, and even like through the mistakes that you made, I think even the mistakes that I've made, I mean, that's how I learn. You know what I mean? That's how you learn. That's how anyone's going to learn. I mean, and even then when you look back at them, you can be like, I remember when I was so stupid, you know? You know, it goes through here, you can't help it. You know, so I mean, like, whenever you can actually build those assessments of being able to laugh at yourself, I do think that you've then become comfortable within yourself. Once you become comfortable within yourself, basically all you have to do is go do whatever it is. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's you know, because not everybody's made for everything. I mean, not everybody's made to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody's made to be a video maker. Not everybody's made to be a salesman. Not everybody's made to be whatever. You know, everybody's made to be something different. There's plenty of people that become successful by not being an entrepreneur because they're good at math or something. So they're a really good accountant, or they're good at you know, they're good at a lot. There's a lot of people that are good at a lot of things.
I mean, really, if you think about it, even it doesn't even have to be an entrepreneur. Like, I mean, I guess everything or anything that you do would end up being calling. If you're making a currency off it, you might call that an entrepreneurial bound or whatever. But if you think about it, like, say like you're the best plant grower and you can grow elephant ears the size of my face, or you can grow pumpkins the size of my face, you know what I mean? Like, you know, that's a skill that you have.
Yeah,
so,
and you know, if you can't sell it, find somebody that can sell it and work together with them or whatever. Because, you know, there's a lot of things that I'm limited to when it comes to the stuff that I do. I'm limited to IT, internet technology things, certain things with internet technology. So I have to hire somebody to do internet technology things that I want to get done. I'm limited with video editing. So, you know, there's certain projects that I want to do that I can't personally do, like an animation, for instance. I'm getting ready to do an animation. It's going to be like a animation / books, where you have the book and then you have a CD in it for you can watch the animation with it, you know, over and everything like that. So I'm going to do that, but I can't do, not only am I not really fit to do the animation, I'm also, there's a lot better people out there for a voiceover. So I'm hiring the guy for voiceover. I'm hiring a guy for animation. So you can't do everything. Nobody can do everything, but people are built in a way that everybody has something that they're a strong point at.
Well, I'll say, I think also too, like not even that. It's just that you have to notice that you're not good at everything. And I mean, and that's the part that keys in for me, is because, like, again, like when I came into things, I noticed that, hey, look, I don't know anything about YouTube. I don't know how to get to the right places. So I went and I looked for someone that would teach me how to do this. I noticed that I wasn't good at video editing. I noticed that I wasn't good at even conversational skills. So what would you do at those times? Either A, you go to college and pay for that. Nobody wants to do that. Or B, you go and find somebody and learn from them. But then again, you have to actually learn. You can't go to somebody. See, I've had a situation before. You know, I've been working with Lady D and Amber K. For this, you know, I've dealt with lots of different other people, and they want to learn, but instead of learning, they're telling me. You know, have you ever had that situation, John? I mean, like, I know that I'm still learning every single day, but as someone young coming to you, how do you kind of rebuild their mind instead of losing them? Because it felt like, in a way, I've lost contact with the person. Maybe there could have been a way to avoid that. What could I have done, you know, possibly? What have you done in that situation? I know you've been there.
Are you talking about where, well, I mean, so you're trying to help somebody grow what they're doing, but they don't want to listen type thing, right?
Right. Basically like that. I mean, like they want to, it's not that they don't want to listen. It's that yeah, basically that's what it is. I'd rather do this instead. This is how I know how to do it. I'm going to do this instead. I don't know what you're talking about. Basically, you're right. Yeah. They don't want to.
Well, basically, you really, there's not much you can do about that. You know what I mean? I don't know how many times I've given people advice and they just don't take it. And if they don't take it, they don't take it. You know, there's nothing you can really do. All you can do is if you're wanting to, for them to help what you're doing or build with what you're doing, you just have to use what you can use with them, you know? And when they do stuff that they can't, you don't want them to do, you can't make you can't lead a horse to water. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink type thing.
Right.
And I'm not comparing Amber or Lady D to horses by any means. They're both beautiful, nice ladies, you know, so that's not what I mean by that, but I'm saying you can't like some people have to learn on their own and you just have to give them room, man. I mean, you know, and that's just part of life. Not everybody's the same. You can, lead by example. Once you're doing it and they see, hey, this is working for him, I'm going to do it too. Then, but I mean, unless, you know, I guess when I look at people that I bring on to help with my channel, they have to be the people that are like, I want to know how you're doing this. I want to do it. I want to do what you're doing. And if they want to do that, then cool.
Some kind of knowledge inside their head. They're not someone that's just going to be like, hey, can you do this for me?
Right.
You know, like,
yeah, exactly, man. I mean, and so like, I'm just like, if they come to me and they're like, hey, I want to help with what you're doing. I like what you're doing. I want to learn. I want to do this. cool. If they come to me like, hey, I want to change the way you're doing things. I got some different ideas I want to throw at you and do this and that. I'm probably going to move on from them, and it'd be, that's just the way I am, because I look at that as a red flag, as somebody that's going to come in and try to change things. And when I'm going to say no, they're going to get mad and throw a hissy fit.
Well, I mean, like, I guess I could totally understand that. But, like, I guess if someone came in, like for me, for instance, I've been thinking about like a different way that I could up my videos, I guess, like kind of put more quality to my videos. Like if I could get someone that would come in and say like they wanted to propose a deal with me and say, look, if you allow me to have a show with you once of the week and we lock it down for a whole month, on the videos, I'll produce subtitling for one of your videos and our videos that week. So you know what I mean? So it'd be like a give and take. So, I would so do that. That's a great deal. You know what I mean? Like, because sometimes
you get a deal out of it like that for sure. I mean, like I said though, like some people you're gonna care about and they're gonna come in, like like Amber and Lady D. You care about them. You're gonna let them do their thing, and if they don't do it, they don't do it. You just move on and do your thing, and let them do what they can do. If you can use it, you can use it. If you can't, you can't. I mean, that's all you can do, man. You can't make people do anything. And
it's so true. And then also too, like when you're building it and bringing it to your brand. Like I like the aspect from when we look at Lady D and Amber K, because like they're still doing their own thing. It doesn't really affect me until they're saying, hey, look, I want you to come and do this for me. Now, if they want me to come out here and just do some film that has nothing and it's not producing, it's not giving me, then I'm going to have to tell them, hey, look, my time is work. That was one of the questions that Lady D and Amber K asked as well. Which one would you rather have, money or time? Well, what about you, John? Which one would you rather have?
Well, it just depends, man, because it's hard to say, because time is something you can never get back. You can always make more money, but you can't always make more time, But in order to have more time for certain things, you kind of have to have money. And right now, I probably work too much. I mean, to be honest with you, I work, 70 to 80 hours a week. That's a lot of time. I'm also a stay-at-home dad, so I sleep very little. And at the same time, I'm working all the time. Even when I'm home with my kids, sometimes I'm working too much. I do take the Sabbath off. That's my only day that I have to where I'm like fully enveloped in my children. And I even have shows on the Sabbath, which, it's not work, but I have shows I do on my work and get everything caught up the day before. But I do have 2 shows on the Sabbath. So I have one.
Right. And they're great ones. Can you let's tell the audience the name of the show.
Yeah, I have one on Friday nights. It's called Virtual House Church.
I was watching. That was a great one, man. It was great. Rob Skibo's on there, right?
Yeah, that's when the Sabbath starts for me, is right when the night starts on Friday, and then it goes till Saturday when the sun goes down.
Well, see, that's a big argument. They say the Sabbath's on Sunday. That's another big discussion we should have one day.
Well, it doesn't take a mathematician to know how many 7 days is the 7th day. Sunday is the first day of the week, so they can discuss it all they want. But
I'll tell you what, 1 + 1 is 3.
Yeah. Some people it probably is, but that's the day that I have to where, like, I usually, my wife will sleep in because she has to work Saturday night. I'll take care of the kids. I have a show from 2 to 4 on True Frequency Radio, and after that, I'm spending the day with my children, and then Saturday night, after the Sabbath, I'm back at it again. Boom, right there. Sometimes a double shows in a row, whatever, to make it happen. But I probably work too much, but I'm building up to a point. Right now I'm building something, and I have to keep doing what I'm doing.
I mean, what happens if you don't work? That's just a question. I mean, what happens if you don't
work? I didn't work. I mean, I don't even want to know.
Right. But I mean, you're lucky, right? That's what I don't get it. Like, well, so how could I? Well, let's say this way. If I was lucky, I would say luck would be more like if I quit working, somehow, like Sword in the Stone, the dishes and the mop get up and start mopping the floor, and they get a walk off, and then all of a sudden he turns into a turtle. You remember that? Whatever. I don't know if anyone's ever watched Sword in the Stone or not, but that's what happened. I could understand that being lucky or magical or something like this. You know?
And I mean, it could probably sustain itself for a couple weeks, But after that, I'm pretty much like, see, here's the deal. Like when you do this kind of stuff we do, or any kind of business, if you shut down for a couple weeks, you're losing your audience. Plain and simple. You're losing your audience that you had because you move on to something else, something new, something better, and they're going to forget about you. And that's just the way it works. And same with your regular business. If you owned a gas station, you shut down for 2 weeks, you're not only going to lose a lot of money for that 2 weeks, but then your regular customers are going to go somewhere else. And you'll still have people that come in here and there, but your regular customers are going to go somewhere else for their cigarettes or for their beer, for their, gas or for whatever, because
I guess it's almost like the person that charges too much as well. There's some people that honestly, I mean, I don't think you should do everything for free, but that's why there's a bartering system that's kind of like in place. I mean, everyone should learn how to barter. I mean, I know someone has once traded a worm for a dirt clod cake, or someone at least has traded like a gummy worm for a gummy bear, or a Skittle for an M&M. There was a bartering system that was built up. So not all the time. When we're looking at things, you have to look at it from a payment standpoint. I think the biggest thing is like if you're able to somehow give value back to the other person. I think that's when things will work out the best for each and the both of everyone inside the deal.
Yeah, it's important for that. And then you got to also, like, once it gets to a certain point, you have to kind of think like, what's my time worth in this situation? Because and this is not something that I worry about too much right now, but I do think about it. Let's put it this way. If I am, somebody's asking me to, I don't know, they want me to shoot a music video for them, which I've turned that down. I turn those down all the time. I turn down weddings all the time. Why? Because they're not going to be able to pay me enough for my time. All right.
That's just keeping it real. I mean, I think that's a big thing that people have problems with too. Is just like self-respect. Do yourself like yourself. Like you do self-evaluate yourself. I mean, like, and I know that you have to. I mean, but I love that you're so honest about that, bro. I love that you're like, it's not. I mean, you can't afford me. I mean,
yeah, and it's not that I'm the best at shooting music videos at all, because I'm not. But they still can't afford my time. They might be able to afford a music video that's just as good as the quality I can put out, but they can't afford my time. So, I just tell them to go with somebody else, because I mean, you're looking at how many hours to shoot it, how many hours to edit it. I mean, if I put 8 hours into that versus 8 hours into what I'm doing now, which one is going to compensate me the most?
It's like you're right, robbing Peter to pay Paul. It just doesn't work out like that.
Yeah, 8 hours of what I'm doing now is going to pay me more than they're ever going to be able to pay me for shooting the music video. I mean, they're just not going to be. Now, if they're like filthy rich and they wanted to throw their money away on me when I'm not the best filmmaker in the world, go for it. You know what I mean? But there's other people out there that are better than me that charge less. So go with them.
Well, how do you feel about people that are trying to like come in like I guess like they're upcoming? Like, I mean, in a way, like me, for instance, I have situations to where I might go and I shoot film or whatever, and they'll tell me, oh, well, maybe if you had a light, or if you had a boom, or if you had some kind of, I need you to be holding the microphone with the stick over his head like this. I need one of, what do you have to say about that? How could we help those people?
Well, are you talking about like they feel like you need to look more professional when you're doing it? Is that what you mean?
Right, you need to have the goggles, and probably need to have the Nike wristband around the forearm, because this is where you wipe the sweat off. Like, know.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it is, they're not paying your bills, and that's whatever. I mean, see, when the way I look at it is you're gonna get a more honest answer, I think, out of people when they don't think you're like some big news crew. Anyway, like if you're out there doing street interviews or whatever, if you come at them with this big camera and big light, they're going to freeze up on you anyway. But if you come at them with a small camera, they're thinking this video is not going anywhere. So yeah, I'll say whatever you want me to say. I don't care. Let's say it. And so you have an advantage there, whether they want to think of it as an advantage or not. That's an advantage because your camera is a really nice camera, even though it's tiny. It still shoots really good video footage. So you're at an advantage with doing that because people are going to open up to you more. Now, you can all. It's never a bad idea to upgrade. I mean, obviously, if you got the money to and you've need new audio gear, you need that. By all means, go for it. I'm not saying don't. I'm just
go get yourself a lapel. Go do something like this. Kind of get like.
Because audio is everything in video anyway. Like you can watch a video that sucks at camera, but the audio is good. You can sit and listen to it. You don't have to watch it. You can still listen to it. But if you go through and you listen to a video, the video may be fantastic, and then all you got is like nothing but fuzz the whole time. Like you're not going to listen to it or watch it no matter how great the video is. So audio is important, no matter what. But if they're telling you,
they have podcasts, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people listen to podcasts where all it is just the audio. You know what I mean? Like I know I listen to plenty of podcasts. What about you, John? You listen to podcasts?
Oh, all the time, man. When I used to work at a tool shop, I used to do machine work. I had my earphones in all day listening to podcasts, listening to the kind of shows that I do now all day long, every day, just constantly listening to them, learning. Or I listen to other things about the stock market or about the silver prices or about the whatever, just nonstop listening all day long. So yeah, I mean, I didn't ever get to watch any of it because I was busy watching what I was doing. So I mean, all day long, yeah.
Right. I mean, like that's the thing though. It's like still though, like as long as you have something, like this is another thing that's killing me. I see a lot of people that are doing like their Facebook Live videos, like. Yes, that's great. I love your Facebook Live video. I love your music video. But let's do something with that video. Let's not just have it sit there on Facebook. I mean, Facebook's where we want it. You know what I mean? But why not? Let's put it to use. Let's put it on a blog. Let's put it on YouTube. Let's get some monetization on that. Let's have somebody else gain some value from it. Like that's the thing that's killing me is I don't understand. And a lot of people, the Snapchat thing that these people got is doing it with their cell phone. And I mean some of these phones they do 4K quality. So I mean like you're talking about good image that you can record on your. But I mean, at least you started.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing is like.
Yeah, I mean you got to do what you can do with. I mean if you don't have the best stuff in the world, then. You don't have the best stuff in the world. There's all there is to it. You just got to go with what you go with. When I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. I had a camera. I bought a camera. I went out and started videoing people. I didn't know what I was doing. And you know what? I mean, it did all right, dude. I mean, the first video I ever did's got like 10,000 plays. It didn't have it back then. Now it does after years.
Build up. See, that's another thing is people. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. You know what I mean? Like this thing is not. It's not. I mean, like you said, it wasn't until last year you started grinding and face to the floor till you started seeing big results for you, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking. I can tell you this that like, if somebody tells me that they're putting in 60, 70 hours a week on whatever they're doing and they're not seeing results, I won't believe it. I just won't.
That's a lie.
Yeah, that's a lie. I mean, I just don't believe that. You can't put 60, 70 hours a week into something and going hardcore at it and not see results. I just don't believe that for a minute. And, I guess some people are really slow and they do stuff that doesn't make any sense. But if you're doing stuff that
procrastinator, but even then I still don't see a procrastinator. Because if you're getting stuff done, I really don't see. And that's the thing. Even if you did one thing a day, let's just say you spelled one letter a day, you're going to have the whole letter. Now, it's going to take you forever. But like writing a book, write 1 page a day, I guess.
Right.
You'll get there. It's better than not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I'm going to write today. I'll write tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, procrastinating is one of the biggest enemies to getting things done. I mean, there's no doubt about that. People do that all the time, and then they find themselves a year later and they haven't done anything that they wanted to do. And that's pretty tragic, you know what I mean? And so and everybody can do it. I mean, there's times when I procrastinate on certain things. Like there's a project that I'm wanting to do, but I still haven't figured out the best way around it. And so I'm starting to think, well, maybe I just need to go with this and just go for it until I learn better. Because right now it's like at this point it's becoming a procrastination because
Right.
and I'm using the excuses. I don't know what service to use for this, so I'm gonna procrastinate. Or so right now, it's one of them things, man. It's like you either gotta go in or go out, and I think that I'm just gonna go ahead and go through with it because even though I don't know exactly what to use for it, I've researched a lot of things and I can't really, but I know what's not good. So I mean, I guess I know.
Right. You know the don'ts, but it's like, okay, well, how can I get the do's better? I'd like to get well, I mean, like, it's almost like me. I would like to start working on my ginseng documentary. I announced it on Facebook. I was going to start working on it, but then I forgot the memory card at home, so I didn't get to start on it. But I've actually been thinking about doing a documentary on ginseng for a long time. But then, really, when I get out in those woods, it's almost like, should I get this tree in the film, or you know what I mean, or how should I come down this hill? Like, should I come running, or should I sit? You know what I mean? Like all these certain things. Should I? But I tell you what, whenever I just go ahead and just do it, it's what works out the best. It's just
you gotta do it, man. And I've done a lot of documentaries where I've didn't even plan on doing a doc, and it wasn't really a documentary. It was more like just a video about what I'm doing, and I didn't plan on it being that. It was more like, I guess it was more like I was going to go do a little short video, ended up being a longer video drawn out. So yeah, you just got to go do this stuff, man. People don't give themselves enough credit, and they don't go out and do things. When it comes to doing YouTube or video, whatever, it's not everybody's for that. I get that. Not everybody's supposed to do YouTube videos. That's fine.
I mean, that's the alternative. I mean, we had Amy Denise on, and she was talking about blogging. You know what I mean? Like she found her way through blogging. I have a cousin. Her name's Alexandria, and she does Pinterest, which led to a blog eventually. But it started with Pinterest. I mean, you're talking about recipes. If you got the best pudding pie, I tell you what, someone's going to look at your recipe. If you do the best sweet potato French fries, someone's going to check out your recipe. And you don't even got to show your face. That's the thing about it. It's not like anything that you want to do. But I think that the problem is people don't understand is the internet's really like, that's like the master hub. That's like, your car's out of gas, you need more gas, you go to the gas station. This is like unlimited gas inside here. This is unlimited people to connect with inside the internet. But the thing is are you going to go out there and go connect to the people on the internet? I can't ever forget the time when I first met you, John. And in my mind, I was thinking, like, how in the world does he know? I was so stupid to the point to where, like, he saw that. But yeah, you put that on the internet. Literally, you want to go talk to someone in China, you can go do that. It's just a second away. And that's the thing I think people are forgetting is like Gary Vaynerchuk, he always talks about like, man, grandfathers and grandmothers having a hard time, and like depression was really something. I mean, when we go through depression, I'll tell you what, if you want to make really big money, I don't suggest it, but if you want to make good money, YouTube's still around. We start going through depression, do some really stupid videos, because everybody loves stupid stuff. I've noticed that. I'll see like 1,000 plays on someone dropping a big boulder on their foot, and their foot splits open and the meat's hanging off the side, but they got over 5,000 plays. You could go that route, or you could start now with your idea, whatever it is. Start small, start posting, because I haven't erased a single video on my channel, not a single video, because like I actually go back through it for my own self just to say, hey, look, I'm getting better. I'm learning how to do this. Like I use my videos to kind of like I guess you'd say research myself, or kind of like see my growth, if you will. But if every single day you do a video, every single day you start talking to someone else, every single day you start stretching out a little bit further, I do think that, like John said, I do think that you'll see changes. Things will happen, and you won't even know how to answer to them. Like, I mean, I think it'll become an attraction for others.
Yeah, and what keeps me busy may not keep you busy on YouTube, or on whatever. Like, I used to do like you. I used to go through when I first started working real hard. I used to go through, and every comment that I had on my video, I would comment back and talk to them. And that's what I would suggest. If you can't find something to do something, and that if that's one of the things that
right. Don't let the eggs go bad because you don't have 6 of them. You're just gonna let the hen sit there and there's not 6 of them. I can't make a carton. You're gonna let them rot? No, go do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just go do something. I mean, go through the comments or go through, and just email people, share on different groups, do whatever. And like all that stuff kept me busy for 40, 50 hours a week, and then now I still do the same amount of time, but I've got to the point to where I can't do those things now. So I moved on to different things, but whatever keeps me busy, whatever's the most important, that's what I moved to at the time. You know what I mean? So back then that was the most important thing to me. Before that, I didn't know exactly what I needed to be doing. So I kind of moved forward and I moved forward with different things too. But see, back then I didn't have a website I was running full time. Like when I first started, I had an IUCTV, but I wasn't pumping it out like I am now. I didn't have the live chat on my website. I didn't have the email thing. I didn't have,
By the way, that new live chat is pretty nice. That new live chat that you have in there, that's really nice.
I love it, man. It's so much better than YouTube's chat, and people love it. I mean, my regular listeners that come, they love that. They get to fellowship and talk with each other, and they've connected. Like all the people that are on that chat, they've connected on Facebook, and they know each other now. They're all really good friends. So it's really been a blessing to have it on there. And so, like, I didn't have that back then. First off, I didn't have an automatic emailer that sends emails out when I have a new show. I didn't build a new website for every show I did, or a new page for every show I did. I didn't have a countdown timer. I didn't have there's so many things I didn't have back then compared to what I have now.
I mean, when you didn't have those things, what were you doing instead of having those things?
I was back on people. I was commenting back with people. I was messaging people back, which right now even on my Facebook, I can't message everybody back. There's no way. I don't have time. And on my email, I can't email everybody back. There's no way. I don't have time. But I did that back then, and I'd like to get to a point to where I can do that again. But right now, I'm kind of in a step where I have certain things I have to get done. And now, if there's any time left at the end of the day for me to do anything like that, I will. I'll go to it and I'll do it. But until I have certain things I have to get done in order for everything to run, the processes to run smooth, in order for my audience to have the best experience they can have when they watch our show, and even after.
I think a lot of people kind of like get it messed up too, like a little bit. Like I don't think. See, when I might have thought, like, when you say, look, I don't really comment back or whatever. Like someone might say, hey, if you don't comment back, then you're not. No.
Well, I mean, at first, I think you should. I think at first you should, because you don't have a ton of people to comment back to. But when you get 500 comments a day, you just can't. And people realize that. They're like, okay, this guy who gets 500 comments a day or probably more, and I can't expect them to message me back all the time. And they just understand. Hopefully they understand. Some people probably don't, but the majority of people are going to understand that, like, this guy probably gets more comments than he can thread through. And, I've thought about just
eventually I know that you go back, and I know that because the thing is a lot of people are like, oh, he never reads his comments, he never does anything. But I honestly, genuinely think, before I ask you, you go back and you read your comments, because if you didn't, then you really wouldn't know too much. I mean, if you don't read your comments, you at least look at your analytics to see your dislikes to your likes or to your comments to the ratio.
I usually skim through the comments, Montez. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Like, okay, so, 1 or 2 days a week, I might go like today, I skimmed through the comments and just kind of looked through. Didn't have a chance to
get a feel. Because that's how. I don't think that if you wouldn't read them, then you kind of wouldn't really get a feel for, like, for what's coming next. And so that's what I'm basically trying to get other people to see, like, because people have asked me, like, oh, well, if he doesn't read his comments. No, but really, though, I think that at a later time, when he has time or when people have time that are really busy, they do read the comments. Now, whether or not they write back, I don't
think. One reason we have a chat every week and we have people coming on there and we have like a live show, I read those comments all the time. I read the live show, people, what they say. I answer them back. We have questions, back and forth questions. So I have a
I'd love for you to like break that down for us. Like, I mean, I know it's a little bit off topic, but why stream on the website before streaming on YouTube? Like, I'd love to like edit this down later. Reasons for streaming on the website instead of YouTube.
Well, I do both. I stream on my website and I stream on YouTube, and I have chat on both because there's people that prefer the chat on my website because I moderate it. Okay, I don't allow trolls in there. Also, people can add each other on Facebook on there because you log in through Facebook or you log in through Twitter, and you can add the people right there. Like if you're talking to them, you guys hit it off. Hey, this person's cool. I am going to click on their profile here on the chat, and so look, there's their Facebook. I'm going to go to their Facebook profile. I'm add them as a friend. And then also they get to have, you can post photos in there. You can post all kinds of stuff you can't do on YouTube that you can do on my chat. You can go in there and do that stuff, and you can enjoy the time you have a fellowship chat. So, I mean, the reason I don't read all my comments is, for one, a lot of them, half of them are, I'd say, well, half of them, 20% are just trolls anyway. I mean, you're going to have that on every, no matter what kind of videos you do. You look at the best videos, a little kitten licking a baby, and you're going to have 100 dislikes on it, because some idiot's like, oh, man, cracking a baby, yeah. Just a grumpy old fart,
Don't quit all that.
Yeah, you're going to have trolls no matter what. I mean, that's just part of life. So I don't like to read all that negative crap anyway, but I do connect with the people that actually listen all the time, the people that are, supporters of ICT, the people that care about what we're doing. I get a chance to interact with them every day, just about. I have 7 shows a week, so I get a chance to interact with these people nonstop. I don't have to read my comments as much now because I do give them opportunity to ask questions to me.
Well, I mean that's like the big thing is like is that's the reason why. Again, like I've been running into this a lot lately. What's making things like, I guess one of the lucky things that you could do to help yourself is connect yourself to all the social media sites. I mean, like, it's really true. I mean, like, I can't lie. Right now, I don't have a cell phone, but if I did, I mean, literally, you could get a hold of me on Twitter. You could get a hold of me on Snapchat. You could do it on, you could do it on Instagram. You could do it on Periscope. You could do it on Peach. You could do it on, the list is just going to keep on going on. I was in part of all of those associated application places. I mean, here's the reason why. I mean, if you want to maximize yourself to being available to all audiences, then you need to place yourself with all audiences. I remember I asked you, John, I said, hey, how can I get my music spun? How can I get my music heard? How can I start getting a buzz about myself? And you told me, go submit your music to some websites that are taking music in. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, a lot of times this is what the question I'll get from people today is they'll say, well, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to get paid for it. Well, then look, if you're looking to get paid for it, just don't even look to do it. You're not going to get found out if that's what you think. You think you're going to have somebody pay you to put your music out somewhere. You're dead wrong. You got to do it by yourself, and you got to place it somewhere. And that was the first thing that John told me. He said, place your music out somewhere. So that's the same thing with the social media site. If you place yourself on all these social media sites, maybe you don't use Snapchat to show your face. Maybe you use Snapchat to show your video editing skills. Say you're getting really, really good, dope photo, and you just edited a really good photo on Photoshop, and you got this CS, and you bam, ding, boom, and you write on the caption on Snapchat, you write on there, look at this pretty cool picture. People are actually going to look at that and say, hey, you know what, that's a pretty cool picture. I mean, it's the same thing as on a blog. If you're writing on a blog, you don't know who's going to read about whether or not you wanted to go fishing with Rosie and your grandmother. But that's what happened that week. But if you're writing that in that blog, and so you get someone that catches on because you wrote about how dill pickles are killing people, not that they are, but I'm just saying if I wrote an article about that and it just caught people, later on they're going to be like, oh, what else have they wrote? And they're going to go through all the other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's the biggest thing to me is like, if you're not, you can still do something to prepare for tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, tomorrow something happens for you. Somebody comes and finds out and says, oh my goodness, I tell you what, this is great for you. You know, whatever. I found you because you are a great writer. I'd love to see some more content. I don't have any. Why? Because I never wrote it. That's what happens. You know what I mean? Like some of that. I mean, or you could like kind of like do your little way away, and then when someone finds out about you, like, hey, look, this is what I was doing, and then the person that meets you, like for instance, John, for me, Ray. I've had Mike Andrews. I've had Raymond Lowe's. I've had Tweet Patriot. I mean, I still don't get Twitter all the way, but they've come through. People come through, and they help me understand whatever it is better. But if I didn't go and make the terrible video or the terrible song or the terrible tweet or whatever, then I never would have actually had someone saying, hey, look, I see his work ethic. Hey, look, I see what he's doing. I like what he's doing. I mean, because honestly, John, would you reach out to someone that's doing nothing?
No, I mean, of course not. Nobody would, just because, you know, what's the point? You know, not only what's the point, but you'll never hear of them. So
Right. So, like, and that's the thing is, like, until, like, you at least do something. I mean, even though it might be terrible or even though it might not look the best, I mean, that's where other people come in and help you make that better. Like for me, I know I've asked over 1,001 questions to you, John. I know I have personally. Like, you know, I've asked lots of questions, but I don't think that if I wasn't asking questions and if I didn't do the things that I'm doing, then I wouldn't be to where I'm at. And I think that's your little hack. You know what I mean? That's the little, I believe. What do you think, man? Do you think that's the little luckiness? Is that? But I mean, again, I mean, it can be work your face off. But I mean, is the luckiness that you did something and you got seen? I mean,
yeah, I mean, that's a lot. 90% of it, I'm sure, if not more, is just being out there. I mean, if you're not out there, nothing's gonna happen for you. That's just all there is to it. If you sit on your butt all day long, I mean, how is anything gonna happen for you?
Really, I really want to know, how do these people from Hoarders, like these people from Hoarders that are just like got all this crap in their house? I mean, look, people make money off that. You know what I mean? Like, now I know that some point in time they got up off their butt out that trailer, either that their aunt or uncles got off their butt and went down, told on them so they could get some money. Somehow somebody can.
I don't know if they make any money, but I know that they get their house cleaned out for free. So if they comply, but you know, I wouldn't call them lucky by any means. I wouldn't say any part of their life is lucky. I've
never really seen. You know, I think that would be really good, like to see an after episode, after the after effect of a hoarder. You know, like they come and get their house cleaned up and how now they're living great. They've got to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, hopefully they you know, there's something wrong with somebody that does that. I mean, I used to have an aunt that did the same thing. You know, she'd buy two washers, 2 dryers, 2 dishwashers, you know, whatever. I mean, when she died, she had a whole huge building just full
of all the kids could have one machine,
appliances and everything, and you never used them. It's still in the box. You know, just her whole nice building just completely stocked full. Her house was full of newspapers. It's just, you know, it's a disorder. So
my grandfather's that way with he was that way with like nuts and bolts and screws. He never knew when he would need to like I guess like screw down something, or if this socket, he might have 24 of the same sockets, but he'd find this one and like, oh, I've been looking for this, but it's like, grandpa, but you know what I mean? But I think some people actually have a problem with it. But then I think also too, I think that it's just are you gonna get up and go do something today? You know what I mean? I think that's really what it is are you gonna do something? Because I mean, even if you wanted to become a hoarder, you have to go find something to hoard. Somehow you have to go out there to go get whatever it is to be hoarded to you, you know, or I mean, unless you got Gary that runs out there and he gets all the daggone Time magazines and he gives. my mom was really bad for what were they called? Geostatistics or Geo. It was the one with all the books, plants and animals. Geographic. My mom was really bad with geographic magazines. Yeah. She had like tons of them in the closet, bro. Tons of them. Yeah.
I mean, who knows, man? But I know this, that you'll never get anywhere by sitting on your butt. And, you know, if by some strange reason somebody came and dropped $1 million in your lap, you wouldn't know what to do with it anyway. So you'll end up losing it in less than a week, you know, or probably a month or two. Somebody will probably kill you for it because you don't know how to handle that kind of money. So, I mean, you got to – even if you do get lucky and you do win that kind of money, you're not going to know how to handle it to begin with. So you got to get out there and do stuff. And you get even if somebody hands you a Fortune 500 company and you never have done any kind of work with the company, you're going to make the company go under and you're going to go bankrupt, you know. So it doesn't matter. You can get lucky all day long, but if you don't know what to do with it, then it doesn't matter anyway. So,
well, see, I think the last 3-pointer at the game, at the last second, I think at some point in time that there is skill. I think that sometimes that is skill. I think, but to hit it at the other end of the court, that's luck. You know what I mean? Like I can dig that, but
it ain't gonna happen more than once, and it's, you know, you're never gonna win a game doing that, you know.
Yeah, right. But it's the same thing with your work ethic. If possibly, you know, like every single day you've been showing up to work early just to see the executive pop in because you know that he comes in at 9 o'clock and you want to be the one to have him coffee or a donut or something, and you know you want to be the first one there, and if you do that for like the last 4, 5, 6 months, you're gonna find him there. But if you want to do that and you never, which probably don't want to be the one to give your boss coffee, but you know what I mean, like something like this. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to, you know what I'm saying? If you want to do something, you gotta have to go do it. It's kind of like praying as well. You know, you can pray for change. You can say, God, I'd like to stop watching pornography, but if you turn around and watch pornography the next day, how can it just doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
People think that way, man, and they've just been brainwashed, I think, to think that some stuff is just going to fall into your laps, you know. And
I don't know where that comes from. Is that from the water poisoning or?
It's the media. They tell you can do whatever you want and this and that. I mean, let's face it. Like, if you have one leg and you're not very fast and you want to be an NBA player, you're not going to be an NBA player. You know, just because you want to do something doesn't mean
you might play for the Special Olympics.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can do that, but I'm just saying, like, there's certain things you can't, like, you put your mind to it, you can do it. No, if you put your mind to do what you're supposed to be doing, put your mind towards what you're made to do, you can do anything. But if you put your mind towards something you're not made to do, forget about it. I mean, some people are built to run. Some people are built for basketball. Some people are built, and they have to, you know, they know that. And some people work really hard to be in the NBA or play football. Some people work really hard. Some people are just, you know, 7 foot tall, 500 pounds by birth, and they can.
Right, they're like, why wouldn't they? You know, that's what they need. That's what they need to do.
Yeah. So I mean, they're made to do it. Some people work really hard and do it, but not everybody can do it. I don't care. It doesn't matter, man. I mean, if you've got.
Right. Like if you're not 5 foot or if you're not 8 foot, you can't just.
Yeah, if you're 3 foot tall and you want to play in the NFL. Not going to happen. I don't care what you think or how much you've told the media has told you can do anything you want to do if you put your mind to it. It doesn't.
I don't believe them. That's a lie.
And they have all these like stories of people coming up from, like, I don't know, what's the Facebook founders guy's name?
Mark Zuckerberg.
And everybody thinks they're going to be this guy. Everybody thinks
I would be a Mark Zuckerberg too.
Everybody thinks that, and it's that's.
And you know what the funniest thing to me is like when the person it's good to want those things, but then when it crashes, they say, why? I don't know why that happened. Mom and Dad, I've got all the money. I've got all the, well, maybe you don't have the littler things that you need.
Yeah, not everybody has that. Mark Zuckerberg was born into a elitist family for one. He's got a lot of like ties back. Yeah, he worked hard too, but he's got a lot of ties back to some old money, So yeah, he came out of there but not everybody's going to do that. Not everybody's going to have a Bill Gates story or what's the guy that started Apple? I can't even think of his name right now. Not everybody's going to have a story like that, but I guarantee that you're never going to have a story like that.
Carl Icahn.
No, the Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs.
Yeah, Steve Jobs.
Yeah, Steve Jobs. And not everybody's going to have a story like that, but you might have a story similar to that if you do what you're made to do. If you're made to climb trees and.
Well, I tell you what, I wrote. I didn't write the blog. I reblogged it. Like I've been into reblogging. So if anyone ever wants to check out my blog, all you have to go to itsmontez.com. Click on the tab on the side. It says blog. Actually, it'll say more. Then you click the blog and you can read the blog. But I was writing about the guy that I didn't write it. I reblogged it. Excuse me. He was selling rocks, the pet rock. Come on. If he can do that, don't think that you can't do anything. You know what I mean? That was.
You can do something. Everybody's made for something. So that pretty much wraps up my ideas for the night. You're as lucky as some people are luckier than others, sure. But you know what? You're never gonna get lucky if you sit on your butt all day.
No,
you're not even gonna win the lottery if you don't go buy a ticket. So you have to do something.
Yeah. So that's your little. That's the little. I guess you would say lucky nugget that we got to drop for you all. You can't get what you want if you don't go get what you want.
Yeah, you got to go get what you want. You got to go out and get it, man. You got to go out and get it, and you got to know who you are, know what you're capable of getting.
And it takes time, right, bro? Because that's the thing is, like, some people want it now. They want it like yesterday. Like, how come I don't have it now? But
oh yeah, patience is huge.
Patience is huge. How long have you been growing your channel now?
Well, since 2010 is when I started it, but I've really been busting my butt only for like a year, to be honest with you. I did a lot of stuff before, so I can't say I've been patient though in life. Let's put it that way. I've been very patient in life to find what I needed to do because I've been through a lot of things to get to where I'm at right now. And I
remember you said no one really told you how to work YouTube. You just kind of learned it.
Figured it out on my own, learn myself, and then I started having friends, that were other people that do YouTube, and I talked to them, and they'd help me out. They'd say, "Hey, you do this," or I've watched a tutorial. Hey, do this, and I just kind of learned and figured out what worked, what didn't work. I watched my statistics really closely. I watched my stats, my analytics, and found out this is what works. This doesn't work. Stay away from this. Move forward with this. More. Move more, and then I adjust. I adjust every chance I get. I adjust, and then, like I said, it's like when you get to a certain point to where you you can move forward. But until you're mastered what you're doing at the moment, you can't really move forward until you mastered that. Until you learn how to walk, you can't run. And then, and so forth. You have to master what you're doing at the moment before you make big steps in the right direction. You have to be patient because, trust me, I want a television station that's broadcast on DirecTV, broadcast on Dish Network, all the different cable companies, Roku, whatever. I want that, and I will have that eventually. But right now, I don't have that, so I could be like, man, I want that right now. I want that right now, or I could say I'm going to do the best I can with what I have right now. I'm going to move one step at a time. Then I'm going to have that, And once I have that, I'll know how to do it because I've already taken the steps to get there. People right now, it's like, hey, give me this big station. You don't even know how to run a station. Why in the world would you want somebody to give you a business or, whatever when you don't even know how to do it? It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Forget about it.
They'll have to fail at the station first, and then after they fail at the station, they'll be like, "Hey, look, I need another try. I know how to do it."
Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, you got to work yourself up to that point to know what you're doing in order to be successful at it. People want things like that. They want everybody to invest in my company, do this. And yeah, I mean, I could get people to invest in IUCTV if I wanted to. I could go out and do a fundraising thing, and I could probably raise thousands and thousands of dollars to do it. But guess what? I'm not ready to lose those people's money. I'm ready to make my money and do it the way I'm going to do it, and then learn. And then when I know exactly what I need to do, then maybe I'll ask. But then till then, I mean, I would rather work and make it myself. I don't want to have to ask for investments. I don't want people to invest in what I'm doing. I want to be able to provide a service for them and do what the best I can do. Now, if I get to a point to where I know what I need, and I know exactly what I want to do, and I want to start up another company after I'm already doing the company I'm doing because I've been successful at it, then I ask for investments because they're like, okay, this guy's successful at this company. He knows what he's doing here. I'm going to
you have something to show somebody. If you have like a model. Like, again, that's what I was saying. Like, if I go to you and I say, hey, I want your help. Well, what do you got? I got nothing. Chances are,
I got nothing, but this is what I want to do. It's like, okay, well, show me that you have the capabilities of doing that first, and then maybe we'll think about it, and that's.
But it's usually, hey, look, I want you to do it for me. I got the idea, but you do it. You know what I mean? Like, but
if I had $1 for every person that I've had tell me, like, I want you to invest, or hey, do this for me, and we'll do this. It's like I'd be a millionaire right now just by the sheer. Well, probably not, but. If I had, let's say, $100 for a person to tell me.
I don't know, bro. I think you'd be quite well off, man. Because I'm pretty.
Everybody wants me to do their work for them. It's like, hey, come over here, and I've fallen sucker to doing it so many times. Like, let's start this thing together, and then I end up doing all the work, and then, I'm left with nothing at the end of it. I've done that before. I've been there, so I know what you're going through. If you're going through that, anybody out there listening, if you're going through that, I know what you're going through. But guess what? You learn from that. I learned so much from doing that stuff. I've learned so much about how to run certain things of the business, how to do, even though I didn't get anything out of that one, other than knowledge, which is powerful, which is important. I didn't have to pay to go to college. I learned it through the business. Now I use everything that I learned for what I'm doing now, and it makes a big, big, big difference. And I just, there's so many people out there. I don't know how many people have said, hey, do you want to invest in my idea? Do you want to invest in this? And I think back about that, and I look back, okay, years ago to these people that have asked me to invest in their company. What are they doing now? They're not doing what they asked me to invest them into doing. So that shows me that they really never have a plan.
And believe in their own self. And that's another thing. It's like how am I going to have faith that you know what you're doing when you don't even believe yourself? You know what I mean? Like, how am I?
You won't even do it yourself. So why would I want to do that?
I just want to try to make money first. That's it. I just want to.
I mean, I've had people, man. I mean, I'm being dead serious here. I've had people come and ask me for an investment in something, and I say no, and they get mad at me. Okay, first off, they get mad at me and like, well, you just don't believe in my vision, and I've had that happen many times. Many times, and probably at least 2 or 3 times this year. All right, so I'm looking back at 5 years later, 5 years down the road after people have asked me for an investment. They want to invest into the company. I look at them, guess what? Their company is non-existent, and they're working at wherever. They didn't do it. They never did it, and because my instincts were correct when I said this person's not going to do it, or if they do get the money, they're not going to know how to do it. And that's important, man. People have no clue about that stuff, and nobody's going to invest in a company that's smart anyway. You're not going to invest $1,000 into somebody's company when you don't.
See, that's kind of like where Lady D and Every K are on itsmontez.com. And I'm pretty sure you have an intern. Don't you have an intern too for Now You See TV? Right. So like
I do have an intern. Yeah, I do have one of those, and I have a guy that helps do shows with me, and I have some stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, I mean, so like basically that's the time where they're learning. That's the time when learning is being and stored inside their head. That's when the time to where like we're going through different opportunities, we're getting different things, you're getting better at your craft. So now whenever it comes time for, because like again, like I'm pretty sure if the intern doesn't want to stay with you, I'm pretty sure you want to at least give him the goods to go somewhere else to eventually say, hey, I'd like to work with you. So,
I mean, I'm gonna probably end up hiring him one day, you know. So
right. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not gonna put a lot into somebody and then not, you know, expect. Definitely if he continues and like keeps learning and keeps pushing and doing what's well, I'm gonna hire him someday. There's no doubt.
But even then, though, if say like he wanted to go elsewhere, say he wanted to start a business, and he goes and starts his business just like you did, pretty much. You learn off of someone else. I forget, weren't you with Nikoski? You learned off of everything with that, and then you were able to apply it to what you're doing now. So like the camera guy, I mean, like he's actually getting to. I mean, I don't know if he really knows the all this up there, but he's actually one-on-one experiencing that, and not a lot of people get to spend. And that's the thing is the elders and the youth have to eventually conjoin together. Like you can't. You're not gonna go learn. You're not gonna go ask someone that's 19 years old how to really. I mean, you might ask him how to do something, maybe like how to I wouldn't even ask him how to make a slingshot for real. I'd rather ask someone that's older. You know what I mean? But you want to go to someone that's older. I don't even know if there's a point to ask a kid. Okay, I got a good point. If you want to understand what a child's saying, like your child, your kid, you have a little daughter. I have 2 daughters. So like when my youngest daughter will say something I don't know what she's saying, I'll say, Tiara, what is Taylon saying? Somehow she can interpret it. But as far as like if you're wanting to like re-educate yourself, bring yourself further knowledge, you really have to go to an older individual to get that knowledge. But the thing is you have to actually be able to accept and eat the knowledge. See, a lot of people, they get the knowledge and they regurgitate it as soon as they get it. And I think that's what it is with a lot of people, is that I'm not sure if it's too fast for some people's mind to where they want to throw it right back out as soon as they get it. They're like, oh, no way, I'll go the way I know how to go. I'm not going to try this. I'm not sure what it is.
Well, I mean, a lot of it's your wife. If she's not. I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if that's wrong. If it's your wife and she doesn't want to do what you tell her to do, when it comes to certain things, she just may not be comfortable with what you're telling her to do. You know, like my wife, I've asked her so many times, just come on the radio with me or come on air with me, and she's not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. You know, she won't do it. I've asked her.
But you know it'd be awesome, right? You're like, yeah.
She'd be good at it, but she won't do it. So it's like whatever. And I don't expect, you know, my wife or my wife's friends to care anything about what I'm doing, because they won't. You know, there's just no way. So at least your wife cares enough to actually try to get on camera and try to, like, you know, suffice what you're doing. Because it's not that my wife doesn't care. She just won't do it. She's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. So I mean, at least
I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate. I mean, like whenever I remember I first started working with Amber, my wife, Amber K. She was Amber K on the internet. I call her my wife. But when I first started working with her, she wasn't really so much. It was a shy thing, and same thing with Lady D, her friend, Lady D, a good friend of mine as well. Shy. A lot of times we are worried about what other people think, but I think I had to show her, I guess, my mistakes. I had to show her, like, look, I could be stupid here. I messed up here. I showed her some of the mistakes that I've made in my life. Not really like.
There's no way she'll care.
Right. No, I mean, I'm not. You know, not to talk to you. We could never.
My best. Trust me, this thing happens.
But you know what? Your wife takes photography, though. Your wife does a daggone good job at photography.
Yeah, I mean, she's a master at that. She's a pro at it, and you know, she's got her own business doing it. So I mean, she's got her own thing. Like I said, not everybody's meant for this, but like I said, with the intern, with Jake, and with the people that I have working with me, they have to want to do, they just kind of have to. The reason they're there, first off, is because they believe in what's going on with what we got going on. They believe in it. I didn't have to talk them into it. They asked to be a part of it. You know what I mean? They asked, said, "Hey, I want to be a part of this." So that makes all the difference.
That's probably like a good person to partner with, right? Like, you don't have to ask, "Hey, do you want to be part of here?" They're like, "Hey, look, can I be part of what you're doing?" Like, yeah, sure. You know what I mean?
Can I be part of what you're doing? And there's certain criteria that I go by for somebody to be a part of what I do. They have to be a person that has really good morals, and they have to abide by the scripture. They have to be trustworthy. They have to work hard. They have to be able. There's a lot of things that I have to see qualities in this person before I'll bring them in. And if I see red flags, I won't bring them in. So I'm picky. There's some.
Well, I mean, some people say, you shouldn't hold others from being successful, and I think that's just the stupidest thing. I mean, like, okay, so I should just let someone that's a child molester know the ways of how to succeed in things? No. You know what I mean? You got me wrong. Like this. No, there's no.
Well, we did a show about the people you allow in your camp and allow with you, and you have to be very wise when you pick the people that are a part of what you're doing. You have to be, because if you don't, you're gonna fail anyway. You're gonna fall underneath the curse of having bad association. There's a curse there, and we talked about it in one of the shows that we had.
Right. We falling under a curse for associating with bad people. How to get out of the curse. I'll look that up right there. The exact title that we had on that.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing that gonna echo. Listen to the show on Montez. I think that we pretty much handled it all. I'm getting an echo and a weird robot voice when you talk. Now I don't hear you at all.
I turned the mic off. It happens that way. I need to invest. That's another thing I probably need to do. I need to be like you and invest into the headset, invest into myself, invest into the show. I've been having people telling me I need to get a new camera. It's shaky. For anyone that thinks that I need to get a new camera, I want you all to know this is my laptop. So, gotcha.
You have time, man. Like, the way I look at it is, like, I wouldn't, until I start making enough money to pay for my business, I don't pay for my business. And that's the way I've always been. Like, at first I got my camera at first and stuff, but if I'm not making enough to buy a camera, then I can't afford a camera, and people are always like, why do you got ads on all your stuff? Well, we want to get better. We want to increase our cameras. We want to increase our microphones. We want to get better video. We want to build a studio. We want to be able to fly people in to do interviews with them at the studio. We've got a building to buy. We've got all these things. So that's why there's a lot of things. If you want the best you can get, you want to have the best experience listening. This stuff isn't free. This microphone here isn't free. The camera that I'm using here isn't free. This camera that I got for my guy that's going to be going out doing field reporting, that's not free. You know what I mean? And nothing's free. All my microphones.
Right. It's either you ask for a donation or you go hustle it up yourself. I
don't like to ask for donations personally. People donate to us sometimes, and I'm thankful for it. I love these people, and they really do it out of heart, but I don't ask them to do it because I want, if Yahweh puts it on their heart to donate to me, then they can do it. I want them to do it. But I'm not going to sit there and sell the idea, hey, donate this money to me because this or that. No, I'm not going to do that because, like I said, if Yahweh puts it on their heart, they'll do it. That's why I put ads on the video. That's why we do some of the stuff we do, because I don't want to burden anybody with the stuff that I want to do. I want it to be, you could argue that, the ads on your videos burden me. Well, skip through it. Take your finger and go click, skip through.
Right. There you go.
If you're too lazy to do that, go to somebody else's video. I don't care. It's just whatever. I'm not going to argue with people about why we do, because people are going to complain about everything, man.
Here's the bottom line. Even if it's for the complainer, this goes to anyone and everyone. The luck, the little daggone nugget that you're looking for here is exactly that. If you are tired of something, you got to change it. You got to get up and you got to go do it. You can't have Johnny do it. You can't have Ronnie do it. Mikey's not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You got to do it. You got to get up and make whatever it is happen. If you want something to change in prayer, pray about it and make action towards the change. Don't keep on doing the same thing. You've got to make the change. John, I want you to ask the audience a question. Audience, this is the part of the show where John asks a question, and you all leave your answer below in the comment box. John, can we have a question, please?
Put me on the spot here. What makes you feel happy? What if you could do anything in the world, what would it be?
Ladies and gentlemen, John's question: if you could do anything in the world, what would it be? That's the question. You leave it below in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Get This Knowledge with itsmontez.com, where Jon Pounders comes on and we speak powerful topics. It airs live on Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Itsmontez.com.
Later on, Montez. Thanks, brother.
Thanks.